All right, okay, hands up. If anyone wants to do this with me. Big breath in and release on jazz hands. Big breath in and release on circle claps. Oh, this is me doing excitement management exercises because when I get excited, I lose all of my brains, I lose all of my organized thoughts, and I just start to trail, happy trail. So this is me, excitement managing, so that I can do this video some justice because we're here. We're here on the last day. We're here on day 12 of Delightful Lore, part 2 of the 2-part finale. This is really it. This is the end, and we've made it, and we're here. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not gonna build up the excitement because I'm gonna keep my wits about me. We're gonna keep our wits. So hi, my name is Melissa Melly, called by half of everybody, of Melly Knits, and together with my husband Aaron, we get raw wool from all kinds of farms all over the world, and then we wash it and card it, and then we package it up and get it out to spinners. So we are like the ultimate middlemen between farm and spinners, and we really get like great joy out of doing that type of work, processing, making a huge mess of our house, etc. So that's what we do. And this year we did our first ever fiber advent. We called it Delightful, and it's 12 days featuring 6 fine wool breeds, 6 exotics, and 6 handmade treasures by Canadian artists. And we wanted the entire advent to be able to be reused, recycled, repurposed, returned to the earth, compost, etc. So I myself feel like I don't like the feeling when I receive something that comes in tons and tons of packaging, and then I just feel bad, like if I throw it out or whatever. So I was thinking that through in order to provide something where there's no burden to the purchaser for having to figure out now what to do with all of this stuff. So hopefully you guys have thought through some of that or been already reusing some of that. And anyway, that's my intro. And now let's get on to the fiber. So here's day 11. That's our Cormo, 7 spirits. I don't say this lightly, okay? I've worked with lots of Cormo from lots of places. So this isn't like a hack against anyone. I love Cormo. It's a beautiful breed. This Cormo, like specifically this lamb, but like anything from 7 spirits, whew, holy moly. It's like some next level Cormo. So I just and then we got a lamb going on here. This one, I was worried when I spun it that I had choked the life out of it. This did some wonders in the sink. So all of these days, I love to block my spin. So whenever I'm done spinning, I love the moment where I get to put it in the sink and then give it a little snap and wait for it to dry and then watch how that yarn opened up, bloomed. That's the word we use, how it bloomed. Picture that, okay? So some yarns bloom more dramatically than others. So, I find there's a more dramatic bloom in my hand processed spins than there are in my comb top spins too. I find that really interesting, but I think maybe because the comb top, they pre-bloomed it, you know what I mean? Like in all the processing. So this one though, this really had a strong transformation in that it super plumped up. There's the word, it plumped up. But look at that natural gloss and shine. This is just a straight up breed, guys. There's nothing in this. Woo! Baby, it's like when we bloomed it, because I do warm water soaks, all this crimp just got reanimated back to life after I stretched it out in my spin, right? Okay, so there's our day 11. Glorious, gorgeous, love, love, love. Now we get on to day 12. So day 12 is gold packaging. Here's my little bag. Ooh, about to become my project bag. So day 12 is gorgeous in that it's the packaging that means we're meeting our last exotic, okay? And here we go, I'm just gonna open it. This day was named, oh, mine's kind of open here. Huzzah! Huzzah. A word I love to use, huzzah! Rejoice, we've made it, look at us, we're here. This day is it's the Seven Spirits Cormo Lamb again, right? As we do, with 20% Kiviot. I say it like that because 20% it's a lot of Kiviot. Kiviot is like, woo! Kiviot's like this, okay? For a reason. It's all like foraged and stuff, right? Like this is like a big deal fiber, a true north fiber, like absolutely incredible. And the concentration of 20%, I didn't even sample this. I didn't even, okay? Because so I'm looking forward to discovering the crazy amount of Kiviot halo we're gonna get, I bet. Anyway, I didn't sample it because it was really, really precious and every last gram went into the Advent. So this is going to be my first time spinning this as well, which is really exciting. So speaking of Kiviot, because we talked a lot about the Cormo yesterday, Kiviot, me and Erin took a journey with Kiviot this year. We got some Kiviot that was de-haired because I'm like, perfect. We love doing the labor ourselves. We'll de-hair it, right? Totally. We'll just de-hair this Kiviot. Oh my gosh, that was the worst decision. That was the worst decision of the Advent. That was the worst decision of the Advent. So it turned into this. I think we got through 60 grams, which is like nowhere near what we need to have gotten the Advent done before we finally called it quits. But I'm talking like night after night. I'm like tweezers, opening it up, because Kiviot's got these huge long guard hairs, like really, really big, obvious ones. And then there's all these like medium and small ones. Still easy to see because they're wiry. They're like giant eyebrow hairs, you know what I mean? And so they're easy to see, they're easy to pull out when you're spinning because you never get them all. So that you won't miss it. But like we were really determined to get like all of these hairs out. Like we wanted all these guard hairs out. Oh my gosh, you'd sit there forever, like picking and then moving it and picking and folding it in half and looking and picking. And I had this little yogurt cup that I was sticking all the hairs in. It's the weirdest looking yogurt cup when you look inside. And then I had this little pile that would build with the finished de-haired Kiviot. Like we would have died of old age before we would have got that all done had we carried on. And instead, I just had this thought. Shoot. I shouldn't have surprise thoughts when I'm filming. This always leads to trouble. I have a picture on my camera reel. Erin took it one night of me de-hairing Kiviot. It's like, okay, I'm in bed de-hairing Kiviot. I say this with an asterisk. I put a blanket underneath me, okay? But like I could roll up and move, so I'm not sleeping in Kiviot hairs. I wonder if I can get it inserted into this video. I think I can. If I can't, then we're just gonna carry on and maybe I'll share it one day on Instagram. But if I can, I'm just gonna sit here for 1 second and create a little pause so that I know where to find this in the video. Am I really gonna show this picture? Hold on, here we go, pause. Okay, if that worked, you just saw the picture of me, de-hairing Kiviot in bed with my freaking knitter's neck light attached to my head with a hair clip. I had a hair clip back here holding it so I could like look at the Kiviot. It was so ridiculous. And if I didn't get that done, then you just got the description. Enjoy. Okay. So we quit. Erin was, after like 60 grams, he's like, babe, we can't keep doing this. This is too much. Like, we're never gonna get on to the rest of the Advent. And I'm like, okay. So we ordered de-haired Kiviot from 2 different places. And then we went with the one that we liked and felt was the best quality, which of course meant that it was like, okay, we were never going on this Advent anyway for like, what's the word? We weren't being thrifty. Okay, so we went a little splashy on the Kiviot. That's what we did. Erin looked at them both. He was like, this one's better. I'm like, right? So that's the one that we put into the Advent. That one came from Kiviot Inc. And Kiviot Inc. is a 100% Indigenous owned mill where they process Kiviot. That's what they do. This Kiviot is also hand processed. They're de-hairing it by hand, like the old school way. So what we're spinning in here is a hand processed, totally hand processed bat. And I think that is like remarkable and special. So anyway, there's a little story on Kvyat. I may have possibly just shamed myself, we'll see, by showing that picture online. Oh, great, great, great. Okay, now let's spin Huzzah. Huzzah! Let's spin it. Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm containing it though, so I can keep my wits about me. Okay, now going back into this Advent, let's get the tension right. Wait, maybe I'm gonna work out my tension, get my bangs out of my face before I dive into talking, because we all know how that goes for me sometimes. Okay, wait. Here we go. Hold on. I have crinkly paper underfoot. Wait. I'm gonna move it. Okay. Give me a second. What? Oh no! But also huzzah! Okay, I'm gonna get it. I gotta work this out. While I'm thinking about this, I wanna talk about Advent creation. Because Advent creation, I keep saying that it was like the most fun process ever. And it actually has, in a lot of ways, like refined Melly knits. We learned a lot through this that we will implement now going forward. And it's funny because Melly knits has always worked that way. We have always refined, right? Like we are always like so this year was a big year for two reasons. We went completely hand processed this year. That was a big change, the kind of late spring. And then the other change this year was introducing locks on every single bat, so that as you're getting your hand, which we can do because we're all hand processed now, right? There was a bit of a learning curve because I'd have to remember to pull locks from the fleece before we would just card the whole entire thing. But locks was a new one for us this year. So you've all received locks in your Advent, but that's something we're able to offer because we went all hand processed only. So the Advent further refined us. Here we go, guys. Check it out. 20%. It's my first time spinning 20% Kvyat. Oh. Huzzah! There it is. We're releasing it. The huzzah. The major huzzah. The opera huzzah. Where was I talking about? Okay, so I think what the Advent change for us is we would never have been able to pull this off if we hadn't gotten Big Homie. So Big Homie is the nickname for our giant brother drum carder. It's like our Super Card XL. It's a big machine, really, really big. And I was totally scared to buy it. I was like, no, babe, I don't know if we're there yet. And Aaron's like, no, and we should do this. And I'm like, oh, there's so much money and like all these things. And he was just so on board. And I'm like, fine, okay, but like, I can't pull the trigger on that. I can't. I actually cannot put my credit card information in on a purchase for that amount. And so one day he's just at work and I get this screenshot of like we've confirmed your purchase. I was like scared for like 3 days. I'm not the spender in this relationship, by the way. Not even on fleece. If I take Aaron with me fleece shopping, guaranteed, he's the one that's going to be spending all the money. The auction this summer where he earned his nickname, Mr. 119, that man went crazy at the auction. It was the funniest thing. So anyway, we got the Big Homie and that changed everything. So that arrived to us right before we went to Knit City. Because now we could have the same quality we have on our regular Super Card, but at a higher volume. And there's no way I could have pulled off 30 Advents, all that at 300 grams each, right? Like it was the equivalent of making like 90 bats of wool. Carded, finished, right? Not starting with 9 kilograms, like finished. So it was a huge undertaking and made possible because we had that big machine, but we had to learn how to use it and how that worked within our flow of processing. And this was it. This was how we learned to integrate Big Homie into our process. And I talked a little bit about this in earlier videos, how Aaron is the one that sits with the clean wool, picks it open and feeds it to Big Homie. And then once it's had 2 passes there, I take these big sheets and I weigh them out into 50-gram sections, and then I run them through a regular Super Card. That's sort of the final refinement. And then for the Advent, each 50-gram got split in half and rolled up and wrapped in tissue and tied with a bow, and a seed paper, hand-stamped, handwritten card got stuck right on there, right? But that process, doing that for every fleece, so we actually started by just grabbing day one's wool, which was the Corriedale. We washed the whole fleece, and then we set it right here, right next to where I'm sitting right now. Boom, there it went. Then we washed day two's wool, day three's wool. We washed every single fleece for the Advent. We got the finished weights. We wanted to make sure we had enough because we could do the math, right, to figure out how much we needed. So we got the finished weights so that way we could have everything measured out. Then we came down one day and we matched the exotics. So I had ordered all the exotics, or we had processed or washed them or whatever we had done, because some are hand processed and some aren't. And then we started matching them, and some we knew and some we kind of thought about, right? Like, ooh, how is this going to change the color? Or how does this go with the texture of this and that and whatever? Once that was done, it was go time for carding, and we would run one fleece at a time. So day one first, we went in order except for, did we go all in order right through? Did we have a mishap anywhere? I think we had to add a fleece last minute to the burn pile day. We had to grab, because we had like 7 from that flock, and we may have jumped ahead and started carding Rommeldale first. I don't know, whatever. But ultimately, we pretty much went in order where he would card until we got all the numbers written on the whiteboard. And he would card until we had the weight in the big sheets plus extra for losses, redundancies, whatever. Then he would start working the blend. And then I would be just grabbing those sheets, weighing them out, running them through. And then we created these huge piles. You can see them in the Advent highlight. I've got them in the black and white. We had just like bags of carded wool. It took over this space. You couldn't enter, this is our living room. You couldn't enter the living room for the volume, because carded fiber is huge and fluffy, right? So it just took over everything. And we waited until we had every fleece done, until I got down here wrapping. Would I do that again? No. I think for next year's, I'll start wrapping the days as they're finished, because once you wrap it all up and you get it all, contained, we've just, we went from having a room full of Advent to, once the Advent was wrapped, it was still a room full of Advent, but it only took up a corner. I just had baskets and boxes filled with each individual wrapped day. So note to self for next year, that's probably what I'm gonna do. Anyway, what this taught us, processing fleece like that, we brought with us into our November shop update. That was the first update where, instead of doing 100 grams of this and 200 grams of that, maybe 300 grams of this, and sort of picking through different fleeces, and I am always like, oh, I want to make sure I've represented like a primitive and a down and, a couple of a fine wool, and have options for people. We sort of were like, you know what, we can actually get a lot more done if we work the system the same way we worked the Advent. So one fleece at a time, whole fleeces. So our November shop update was the first time we offered quantities of 12 and 14 bats, because we went out to the garage, we selected the fleeces for the update. We grabbed 6 or whatever we did, whatever we thought we could get done, because November we were still working on the Advent and we still didn't have all the time in the world. And then we washed those fleeces and we carded those fleeces entirely, and we put that up on the shop. It was marvelous. That actually, because you're spending less time on things like the decision making, for one, and all the different weighing and washing a pound of this or 2 pounds of that, because you can get into the flow. And then as far as carding goes, you're spending less time cleaning the carder between fleeces, because every single different fleece, we completely clean every drum on the carder between. So collectively, we've got 7 drums to clean every time we switch a fleece. So that was actually great. I guess I could say it made us more efficient. And I feel like going forward with Melly Knits, this is going to be the new model, where we're going to go out to the garage and we're going to grab as many fleeces as we think we can get through washing and carding in a month. And then at the end of the month, all those bats go online. So the Advent really was great for us to get to know Big Homie and to sort of refine our process once again, to where we can keep up maybe a little better with some of the demand of volume that we receive, right? I want to use positive words for that because I'm super happy about it, but I do want to try to not have I don't know if I can do anything about that, but the carjackings and the little tiny bloodbaths that are the first 5 or 6 minutes of the shop updates. So if I'm hoping that maybe offering more volume of specific things will be helpful for that. Just things I'm thinking through. But anyway, so that was a really great treasure that the Advent gave us working through it. The other thing that was wild is I'm always very specific about pricing, and I have been since the get-go. I can tell you the price of a gram of whatever's up in my wool room. Like, I've got it worked out. My whiteboard with King Hamster right in the middle, the brain hamster, became this like mecca of, it looked like, you know, the crazy guy meme where he's like this and all the red strings are behind him, he's connecting everything. That was my whiteboard. And I had to have detailed conversations with like 2 different trusted friends, just going over like, what is my price? That killed me on the Advent. I spent a lot of time really, really thinking about the pricing. So I had every single fleece we were using priced down to whatever grams we were using in the Advent. I knew the cost, and that included our labor to wash it and card it. And the same went with the Canadian Handmade Treasures, and the same went with every exotic to the gram. I have the gram price. It still lives in my head. This is why sometimes I feel like I get a little cloudy, because these things are still there. The price of a piece of tissue, I knew the cost of each piece of tissue that went into this Advent. And then I made a number that was like, okay, so here's what the Advent costs us to make. And I knew these numbers. So the board was hilariously huge. And that was also another really big part for me, and a part that I didn't want to get wrong. I know, not only did I not want to say underpay Erin and I for making this, because hand processing is a crazy amount of work, which we love to do. I also didn't want to charge too much. And I don't mean that in like a devalue myself way, okay? So just to clear that out. I didn't want to charge more just because I could. That was living loudly in my head, and maybe that doesn't resonate with some people and you don't get why I would say that. But I think for me, I'm sort of a price conscious person. I'm sort of thrifty, and what I really wanted was people who received the Advent to feel like they got like this pile of value. Like, this is a lot of money, what we were asking for this Advent, right? Like, rightfully so. We have like whatever is in my hands right now. But it was really important to me that that it was within reason for both of us, for the customer purchasing it and for me to make it. And I wanted to find that number. And I think we did. Like, I feel really good about it. And from the feedback we've been getting, people are feeling value in this Advent. I want everyone to feel like, I want you to feel like, you know, if you bought this from us, you know I was thinking of your dollars. I really was. I was thinking of your money. I was thinking of your hard work. I was thinking of the time you're going to invest in spinning this. I was really, really mindful of like the respect and the trust shown to us. Listen to me go. Oh my gosh, I'm impassioned by this topic. The respect and the trust that was shown to us by people, like I said in the very first welcome video, just like blindly, you know, paying us for something they hadn't seen yet or didn't really know what the quality was going to be or whatever. Like, that was really meaningful. That was maybe one of the most impactful Melly Knits moments I've had doing this so far. Like, it's already wild that people love our fiber prep so much, and you know, but I get that, because like I love my fiber prep and I love the fleeces that I choose. But like, this Advent was great in that there was people purchasing it, you know, who hadn't seen it yet, right? Who didn't know what the fleeces were and what the quality of those fleeces were, or what the exotics were. So anyway, I could talk about that forever, because that one weighed on me. And there's going to be friends watching this who I went to just check myself. And thank you, friends, for helping me with that. And that's another thing, as we're getting long on this video. Okay, it's the finale, right? So I'm okay to talk a little bit more. That was another thing that I wanted to expressly mention, was that like, we love what we do, and I think we're good at it. And so right there, I think that's a lot of that comes across in Melly Knits. But there's also this other half, I'm going to say half, that goes beyond hard work or like natural affinity to something, where we are like super well supported. So I have so many friends in the wool community that come to me with ideas, with feedback, with like, hey, you know what would be awesome? And I'm like, thank you. Like, we're good because we are super well supported. Like, I can't say that enough. I have had friends like the locks, putting a lock with every bat. That came from my friends Jackie and Carmen when they were doing our big bond spin-along speed date thingy. When they were like, man, I wish I could see the locks for this, right? Because they were like growing in their wool knowledge. And I was like, I can do that, right? But that just didn't invent in my brain. That was because I have friends who I trust and who had like some feedback. And I have had feedback on like what the spindle spinners need from my spindle spinning friends. And I have had help with names. Like, I don't just come up with some of these names. Like, my Thursday friend Mel sat here and she was helping me name all the days of the Advent. Or my friends like Tashi, who I talked about when I was coming up with play dates. And I had terrible name ideas for play dates that were so inappropriate. And Tashi was like, what if you called it a play date? So like, I think that needs to be said. And even with these YouTube videos, I gotta just thank you, Coach Marina from Batty Fibers, because I was super debating if I was gonna do YouTube videos. I was like, I don't know, that's not my lane. I don't know if that's a me thing to do. Like, who's gonna wanna see that? And she came in clutch with like, not just like, listen, you are underestimating people's desire to watch other people open things online. And I was like, seriously? That's super weird. And then she also gave me pro tips, like make sure when you film, you're in good lighting. Make sure you turn your camera to the side because you need the wides. And I wouldn't have known to turn my camera to the side. I would have looked like a crazy video, like with it turned the other way. So all of these things, all I'm saying, okay, you know what? If you like something about us, chances are it's because of people we know who help us. So I guess that's what I really, really wanted to say. Okay, what else can I tell you? I think that might be it. I think, maybe. I actually even made myself a little note this time because I put Marina on my note because I did not want to end this video without thanking Coach Marina for helping me get on YouTube. I guess that's it. I think that might be it. But I'll tell you, this is like an odyssey, this Advent, from the dreamy conception to actually buying the big homie and then finding the fleeces, choosing the fleeces, finding the exotics, choosing the exotics, waiting for everything to arrive, waiting for everything to dry, blending it, not being able to move around in our living room, absolutely destroying our kitchen with the VM days, our kitchen dining room area, the wrapping, writing like 320 cards by hand, just sitting here with shows on the background, just getting carpal tunnel, and packaging it all up, getting everything out, and then waiting. The wait period of like just waiting for them to arrive. And I'm not a good surprises person and I'm really impatient. And so it was like, that was wild. And then they started arriving. And then that December 1st hit and we could finally just get going, opening it up, lore. And now here we are. Here we are towards the end. What a crazy thing. What a crazy thing that I already have planned for next year. So Delightful 2024 is a go. It's 100% happening. How much we're going to be able to offer is still up in the air. I know what I want to do. So structurally, just putting it out there, it's going to be the same as this, okay? Going forward, this will be Delightful Advents for as long as I make them. They will be structured like this, but the fleeces will be different. The exotics will be different. The treasures will be different. The theme or the color story will be different. So if you liked this idea, if you liked this system and this structure, then this is what will be available. Delightful 2024 will be available. I've got the color story in my head. It's going to be a little challenging, but I love it already. And now that I know, it's just time to find the fleeces and find the exotics and the colors that I want, and to find, you know, the treasures, keeping my eyes open, looking for these things. Some of them I've already got reserved, but Delightful 2024 is absolutely a go. Like I said, still wondering how much we'll be able to offer. And then there's one other. I'm thinking of you, my medium wool lovers. And I got a note on my phone for you too. It's not going to be called Delightful. It's going to be something else altogether. And it's going to be an enormous undertaking, but if I can do it, okay. So that's it. That's it from me. Oh no. Okay. Okay, that's it from me. We're done. We're done, Delightful Lore. Shoot. We're done, Delightful Lore. And I am super grateful to be here. Holy moly. And huzzah, super grateful to be here. That there's a reason for me to be here because you guys are all buying my advent and tuning in. And so thank you. And I don't know how to end this thing. So I'm just going to say, I love you so much. And thanks for joining me on Delightful Lore. Oh, crap it all. And I'm going. Mwah, kisses, huzzah.